if we all try to close down at once, then you go back to the 30s. That's not good for anybody.
Let's say U.S. economy. Hedge fund guy, Ray Dalio, the Bridgewater. I just saw an interview with him. I mean, he's warning the United States to sort of a debt level is that sustainable. The interest payment, the service, this debt, is roughly the same as your defense. I was really surprised to see that, or next to your Medicare. How do you see this thing, I mean, the U.S. debt level?
So there was a U.S. economist many years ago named Herb Stein, and he said, if something cannot continue, it will stop. But I share the view that I think this is one of the problems of the past administrations. If you look at U.S. debt levels, they were manageable even with the wars in the early 2000s. But the combination of the global financial crisis and then the pandemic. So our debt as a percentage of GDP is now about 99%. It was the post-World War II high in peacetime was about 104%. So you're getting near the post-time high.
Oh.
The deficit is 5 to 6% of GDP. Even though growth is pretty good, I think that the U.S. need to discipline the spending and to deal with the deficit is a very important point for the future. This can be done. It was done in the 90s. And we actually had a surplus for a time.
I still remember the time of, I still remember the TV. When President Clinton, the first time, a surplus, there was only happened in his term, I mean, a surplus.
But so I think, to put this in context, what we saw in many countries, in Europe, the United States, China, is that the combination of the global financial crisis and the pandemic led to extraordinary monetary policies and extraordinary fiscal policies. And another way of describing what you are analyzing is that I think we're moving out of that now. And I think this goes to the point about international equilibrium and growth in the system. And so I think how countries adjust to this and how they adjust while others are adjusting will be very important. Now, and so on a positive note, look, Germany, as you know, has been very restrictive in terms of spending. But all of a sudden in the past couple of weeks now, the new Chancellor Merz, is going to negotiate an end to their restriction for both defense spending and for infrastructure. This may help the European economy. That will help global growth.
Okay.
In the case of China, I think one of the challenges has been China had a very big stimulus program in the financial crisis. Or if you want to help the local or provincial governments with real estate or with bad loans, how do you balance that without putting added tax burden? I think this is where there's a risk in the international system. So at heart, as you know, there's a difference between the macroeconomic policies of fiscal and monetary and the structural policies for growth. And I tend to focus on the structural policies for growth, which, by the way, are often associated with open trading systems. If we all try to close down at once, then you go back to the 30s. That's not good for anybody. You know, one of the things that President Trump talks about is reducing spending, but unless he goes at the entitlements of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, you're not really going to get the numbers. You can't just do it by firing government workers.